One of the fundamental concepts of biochemistry is metabolism. It is a mechanism of synthesizing new molecules as well as extracting energy from biomolecules. The word metabolism originally derived from a Greek word called metanoia. Metanoia means change. So we are talking about changes that happens within a cell, changes that happens into a biomolecules in the concept of metabolism. When you look at the classic biochemistry book, that is in the Principles of Biochemistry, written by Albert Lehninger, chapter number 1, Lehninger gives a beautiful explanation or contrast between living and non-living things. One of the attributes of a non-living thing is in less than 1 microliter volume of a cell, thousands of reactions are happening. So, thousands of reactions, what exactly are these reactions? It means a molecule, let us say that a sucrose is a molecule is converted to a product. If you split sucrose, you will get glucose plus fructose. So this is a reaction. In other words, sucrose is called a precursor molecule that is converted into a product. A metabolite has been converted into a product. This is what is happening in a reaction. Many times what happens is this reaction can be a multi-step reaction. So this is broken into many steps. Classic example is, let us say, corismate. Corismate is converted to tryptophan. It is a 5-step reaction. Intermediates are produced. 1 intermediate, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, like that intermediates are produced. Another classic example is 3-phosphoglycerate is converted to serine. So it is in multi-steps. A final product is formed. So individual reactions are not going to give a meaning. It is the collection of the sequences of reaction that will give meaning to this formation of tryptophan. Such reactions, we call it a pathway. We call it a metabolic pathway. What is important for us to remember is it is the sequences that gives directionality, that gives a particular, it is serving a particular function. So therefore, in order to achieve a particular function, if the sequences, they are arranged in order. It is not happening random. They are arranged in order. This is one of the beauty of metabolic pathways. Another important aspect of metabolic pathway is all these reactions, these thousands of reactions that will happen at very specific conditions of very specified pH, very specified temperature, ionic strength as well as substrate concentration. Very interesting aspect. And we should also remember that these pathways they are all functionally related. A classic example, let us assume we are going to a railway station. In a railway station, let us assume that there are 100 families. And in each of these families, there are 3 people. And totally there are 300 people moving around in the railway station. When you take an aerial view, what you see is a lot of people are moving around in this direction and that direction. But there is a direction in each family. And each family member, father, mother and the child, they know in which direction to go, which platform to go and whom to meet. There is a direction. So this direction is an interesting aspect of what is happening in a cell. Though there may be thousands of reactions, there is a very definite purpose and direction you will see in metabolic reactions. Metabolic pathways are highly coordinated and a purposeful pathway, where number of enzymes are taking part, number of intermediates are taking part, and it is directed towards formation of a very definite product. Having said this, let us look at some of the purpose of metabolic pathway. So, the purpose of metabolic pathway, let us denote the purpose of metabolic pathway. The first one is to extract chemical energy. So, therefore, to extract chemical energy. So, how can we extract chemical energy? It can be extracted from sunlight, one possible source. Another way to extract chemical energy is from food stuff. So, therefore, the primary function of metabolic pathway is to extract chemical energy. In the second function of metabolic pathway is, for example, let us assume that we are having a piece of bread for breakfast. Now, if the starch or the glucose which is present in the bread, it no longer exists as the glucose of the bread. It must exist as the glucose of mind. So, therefore, the second purpose of metabolic pathway is to convert this biomolecule into one's own molecule. Convert the biomolecule into one's own biomolecule is the second important function of metabolic pathway. In the third function of the metabolic pathway is, once you make biomolecules once yours, then polymerize them to polysaccharides, to fatty acids, to proteins, to nucleic acid, etc. Polymerize them. And that is the third function of metabolic pathways. And the fourth function of a metabolic pathway is to synthesize special molecules. So, which are the special molecules we require? Molecules. So, depending on the situations, we might require antibody as a special molecule. We might require certain vitamins like niacin as a special molecule. We might require histamine as a special molecule. We might require many glycoproteins as specialized molecules. So, the purpose is to synthesize specialized molecules, and these are the purpose of metabolic pathways. There are two themes that will keep percolating as we go through the entire metabolism. If the two themes are, number one, how to extract energy from biomolecules, that is one of the themes. And the second, energy comes in two forms. One is as ATP molecules, another one as reducing equivalent of NADPH. Remember, in NADPH there is a hydrogen. That hydrogen becomes an energy, or the energy carrier or the transporter of reducing equivalent. This is the first theme. And the second theme obviously is to either to synthesize biomolecules as well as to degrade biomolecules. These are the two themes that will keep on repeating as we go ahead in understanding metabolic pathways. And this energy we require for very specific reasons. This energy we require, whatever energy is extracted, the energy that is produced, this energy is utilized for motion, utilized for growth, utilized for maintaining ionic balance, utilized for transport of molecules, utilized for signal conduction. So these are the purpose of having energy or reducing equivalent. Once these are there, it is utilized for carrying out all these functions, and in the process a lot of energy will be liberated. A lot of energy is, in fact, it is wasted. Energy is spent. And we say that the entropy of the system will increase in every metabolic reaction. Entropy of the system increases, and this is the process, the underlying principle that we need to keep in mind as we proceed with the series of lectures in metabolism.